Go. Hello, everybody. We have a little bit of a different look this evening because we are on Zoom tonight rather than our usual venue that we use, which is an app called StreamYard. So we look a little bit different this evening, but you have tuned into the right place. You have come to Let's Talk Travel. We're so thankful that you're out there. And I am excited to be welcoming one of our best friends in the travel industry, my business development manager for the Globus family of brands. And she's going to be talking with us this evening about Avalon Waterways. If you're a regular with us, you probably remember Denise from a prior guest spot, but this is definitely not her first time on board. But Denise, for those out there who may not remember you, may be new to Let's Talk Travel, could you just introduce yourself a little bit? Tell us about your background and who you are and how you found your way eventually through the travel industry and to the Globus family.
You bet. So yes, I am Denise Frayne, and thank you, Pat, for having me today or tonight. I appreciate it. And yeah, I've been with Globus now 23 years. Right out of college, I got a job with Amtrak, and I was there for 7 years, and I couldn't take the cold weather in Pennsylvania anymore. So I said, do you think I could possibly take one of those Florida jobs? So they actually moved me to Florida, and that got me down south. So they had a reorganization, and now I've been with Globus 23 years. So when I first started with Globus, we only had land tours, right? We just had Globus and Cosmos land tours. And then 2004 is when we created Avalon, our river cruises. So it's been exciting watching our land tours with Globus grow and add all these new styles. And now it's been fun to watch Avalon take off.
That is so cool. And Destination Europe is our focus for the month of December, and your family of brands pretty much covers the gamut on the European continent, I think. Yeah. Why would you recommend a river cruise? Why is Avalon the best way, perfect way to experience the heart of Europe? I mean, are there advantages to this approach to seeing the continent?
Yes, there are. I'm a big tour person with Globus. However, you do have a lot of packing and unpacking, right, on a land tour. So a river cruise is just like a land tour with all the history, all the destination, all the culture, but you're not packing and unpacking like you would on a land tour. And you're just on a cruise, you pack, you unpack once and that is it, right? You don't have to keep unpacking and unpacking. And it's nice because the rivers are all along these destinations. They built all these towns along the river. Yeah, some you might have to motor coach to, but most of them you dock, you get off, you're right there in town, and you can just take a walking tour right off the ship and you're right in the heart of Europe. And all of your walking tours are all included in the price. We have several choices throughout the day, which is a big difference with Avalon. We have choice excursions. We have, classic walking tours. We have active tours like hiking and biking. And then we have some off the beaten path excursions, and they're all included in the price. Some river cruise companies, they just give one excursion and then everything else is additional. So we have 3 different types of excursions that are included in the price, which is nice. And then the big thing with Avalon is the view. The cabins, 80% of our cabins are 200 square feet with the beds facing out. And that's a big difference with Avalon Waterways. Oh, I think Pat's going to show. Look at you on cue, Pat. Look at you.
I love this. I love this. And Denise, I'm going to, I don't want to speak bad of any provider in the industry because I love all of them. But, the thing about, I think so, I'm not alone in this, but a lot of us chuckle when we get a call about a river cruise because a lot of times a potential client will call it and they mention something by brand. It may be it's a certain word well, I'm not going to name names, but they do a lot of advertising,
Right.
and so a lot of people think that really is their only option for river cruises, and we know that there are actually a number of different options. How would you say that? What are some of the ways that Avalon differentiates? You touched on some of those.
Yeah, the views, right? The floor to ceiling sliding glass door, which is throughout the whole ship with these floor to ceiling windows, no matter where you go on the ship, like the dining room, the lounge, it's all open with floor to ceiling windows. So definitely the views, and also all those choices. A lot of our competitors, that's what they do. They give you one excursion, everything else is extra. We give 3 different types of excursions. Also, we have less people on board. Oh, there you go. So there are the 3 different types of excursions. You have your classic walking tours. That could be maybe you haven't been there before, or maybe you've been there before and you just want to do a walking tour with the guide. But then we have some really cool active excursions, hiking along you can hike, you can ride your bike along the Danube. I did a bike tour of Vienna one time. They're fun. And then we have these discovery excursions. It could be wine tasting, beer tasting, cooking, painting like Van Gogh. Another difference with Avalon is the amount of people on board. So like the one that you're talking about that everybody knows, you could have 195 people on board. With us, the max is 166 people. It's
and folks, that makes a tremendous difference. I mean, not only do you have a little more space in your accommodations, but you're not rubbing elbows with 100, almost 200 people on board. It's a much more, you have more space. You just do.
Yeah, and everybody fits in the lounge. Everybody fits in the dining room. It's nice, and all these ships can only be so wide and so long because of the locks. So it's not like we have room to even put that many more people on. I mean, I guess you could, but you'd be pretty compact. So, and then the size of the cabins. The smallest cabin is 172 square feet. Those are the ones that are on the bottom with the window. And then everything above that is that floor to ceiling slider that we were looking at. So if somebody wants to go on a river cruise and save a little bit of money, they can be in a lower category that's 172 square feet. A lot of our competitors, they're 155 square feet, 135 square feet, which is pretty small.
And yes, 5 or 10 square feet doesn't sound like too much until that's your accommodations for a week or 2 weeks. And it can begin to feel pretty cramped by the end of that, particularly if you've been doing much shopping.
It does. And, another big thing that Avalon has, and, we all just kind of keep on forgetting, are the waived single supplements. Every sailing right off the bat when we open for sale, like we opened recently for 2024, every sailing we allow 5 cabins to have a waived single supplement, unless coming out of the, out with 2024, if some of the sailings are already full with some early groups, then maybe we won't. But for the most part, all the sailings have 5 waived singles that we allow. You can take the cabins on the bottom, you can take them on the top. You just can't take our royal suite that's 300 square feet. So it's perfect, if somebody that wants to go as a single and takes that lower category, it saves a ton of money.
Or but you give people, here again, you have choice. There are some other companies that waive that, but you have to book that intro level cabin with the high window and no real view. But you have a choice.
Right. Yeah, you do. It's nice. So you have basically run of the ship except for those 2 royal suites, which is nice. Yeah, so you're not stuck with just the lower category, which is nice.
But lots and lots of options there. I love that.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of different itineraries, just amazing options for this. This slide lists several of your top sellers.
Yeah. Yeah,
And-
these are, the most popular, the Rhine and the Danube. But what we're seeing too now is that so many people have been on a river cruise. So now they're starting to do France. They're starting to do the Moselle. But these here are our most popular ones. In April, I did, and I know I told you, Pat, I did the lower Danube. I did Budapest to Bucharest with Transylvania. And I have to tell you, it was fantastic. It was absolutely wonderful. And that's kind of like a off the beaten path kind of one. And it was one of my favorites. But I mean, these are all wonderful. One of my favorites also is the Paris to Normandy's landing beaches. That's my favorite.
Those are all wonderful. And I think that I wanted to focus on a couple of your more popular ones here. We've got the Danube. It's if looking at the westbound, this is from like Budapest to Deggendorf, and there's so much to love about this. I think for most people doing their first river cruise, the Danube or the Rhine is, for it's the starting place. It kind of gives you that the heart of Europe experience, and trust me, you will come back. I mean, and what I love, is you look at this itinerary here that you're seeing here on this. You've got Budapest, Vienna, Passau. You have these major iconic cities, but you also have some charming little villages, and they can knock your socks off, folks. When you get into just these little authentic towns with just sometimes just a few hundred full-time residents.
Oh yeah, my favorite one is, I love, and it's a big city, but I love Vienna. That's just my favorite. It is the most gorgeous city, I think. And Pat, like you're seeing all these towns like Linz and Melk, and then you have that Wachau Valley, which which is what we're looking at here. But that Wachau Valley, it's funny that we have bike rides that go along there. And my husband's mom, she's in her late 80s, but that's how she started being a cyclist, was in the Wachau Valley. And that's a big thing, right? You get a bike and you go along the river.
The scenery just unfolds in front of you. I'm telling you, you want lifetime memories. Nobody can take those away from you, folks. You just come home from this experience. Your heart is full and your head is full of these memories, and you'll talk about it for years to come. I wanted to clarify too, Denise, as you were talking, we talked about the bikes a lot. As we talk about that, people don't have to bring their own bike, do they?
No, there are some companies out there, right? Some barging companies that maybe you do bring your own bike, but no, we have bikes on board. We have a bunch of bikes on board with 2 e-bikes, but for a bike excursion, they just either motor coach you to the bike shop, or they just pull up with a big trailer with like 50 bikes, and then you go on a bike tour. Or if you just want to go, like I did the Moselle recently, and I just got a bike and went by myself and just went for a bike ride. But they do have, or they'll have like a bike excursion, like the one I was on, where there were maybe 5 or 6 people that went with the adventure host that's on board our ship, and they just rode to like the next port where we were going to stop and pick them up. But they beat us to the next place. We could see them as we were cruising down. We could see them the whole time, and they stopped at a bar and had a beer, and they were done with their beer by the time we picked them up.
That is just so cool. And here is the other option that I think is such a great first timers choice here.
The Rhine.
Yes.
This is a good one because you go through that Rhine Gorge, that has all the castles on the right and all the castles on the left. And it is It's beautiful. And that is a good one to go on for your first time. Just because I think this is what people expect, right? To
Yeah.
see all the castles. It's a good one. And you can do this one for Christmas. You could do the last one that we were looking at too, which is going on now with the Christmas markets, or you can do the Rhine starting after Thanksgiving for the Christmas markets too. So
And I'm going to tell you that I'm going to try to stop sharing here. I'm going to tell you folks that those Christmas market cruises, why would anybody go to Europe in this time of year? I'm telling you, it is magical, absolutely magical. The you can talk about these Christmas markets, you can see pictures of them, but the reality is just absolutely breathtaking. And really, I mean, people go in, July and August, they're going on I would much rather go when it's cool. Yes, you need a jacket, but but I'd much rather do that than be melting into a puddle on the sidewalk in the middle of the summertime. That, and just me perhaps, but really it is just great experience. Those Christmas markets. Even if you've done the Danube, you've done the Rhine, go back again and do it at Christmas time. Totally.
That's exactly what I did. So I was on the Rhine already and went back and did the Christmas market. So you know what? I didn't do a lot of the excursions because I was already there. So I just focused on the Christmas markets. It's a totally different experience, right? It's beautiful. And if you do have any clients that are interested, if any of you listening are interested in doing a river cruise next year, I have to tell you, you really need to book early. I've just been noticing on a few itineraries where maybe one of my accounts is looking at booking a group. They can't even get group space. We still have space, but not a large number. I was just checking for somebody for a Christmas market, and there's like 10 cabins left on the date that she was looking at. I looked at France for Normandy and Burgundy and Provence. There's space, but not a lot. So don't wait until summer to book anything. You need to book it early.
Yeah. Now on that Rhine sailing that we had that itinerary up a minute ago, I just want to tell you, we do have some on a southbound Active and Discovery Rhine tour. We do have still some group space there with some great pricing. It's on the September 12th departure, featuring that itinerary. Let me see if I can pull that up again, but yeah, it was just an absolutely amazing itinerary, and we wanted to just kind of share that. I'm going to see if I can get this to come up again.
And a little bit, while you're pulling that up, a little bit about the Active and Discovery. Please don't let the word active scare you. You don't need to be a triathlon athlete to do these. You don't need to be an athlete at all to do these cruises. What's nice, and why Pat picked an Active and Discovery on the Rhine, is that they actually cruise more during the day. River cruising, you normally cruise at night, so you don't get that cruising experience on the river, which is gorgeous. Yeah, you might have a little bit more excursions that are active, but you don't have to do any of them, and you still have full days. They're fun. They're more port intensive, so you're in a destination longer. And like I said, you cruise more during the day, so they're actually more, if this makes any sense, they're more leisurely, even though they're labeled an Active and Discovery. Those are wonderful, and that's a good one that you picked.
And I love just here again, you have that mix of major cities, Amsterdam and Heidelberg, these famous Cologne, these famous cities, but then you have the beautiful countryside and some smaller stops as well. So it is such a great mix, and you do not have to be a world-class athlete to do one of these Active and Discovery itineraries. It is not a requirement at all that you be out there going crazy. You don't have to do bike tours. You can be really just as sedentary as you want to be on these. And I would just say, reiterate again, Denise, you were saying book now if you want 2023 space. Can't stress that enough. It really is an essential right now if you want to get space for 2023. There's space available here and there. Some of the more popular stateroom categories are gone on some of these sailings. So, and I just might add, it's the holidays. This would be a fabulous gift. I mean, you talk for somebody who has everything, give them the experience of a river cruise. They will never stop thanking you. Trust me.
Yeah, my husband and I had that same conversation. We're like, we don't need anything. Why don't we just go on a trip?
Exactly. I would much rather that somebody send me somewhere. I don't care. It could be even to a local restaurant, but I'd much rather have it. If I can't eat it or wear it, I basically don't need it anymore. Exactly. I have everything we need. We have. And to just clarify quickly, Denise, I wanted to if our listeners might have any remaining questions about whether they would be a good fit for an Avalon River cruise experience, what would be some of the key characteristics of your ideal traveler?
You want to learn about history, you want to get into the culture. I guess if you have to have a casino, then it wouldn't be the cruise for you. But if you like land tours and you like all the education of a land tour, this is perfect. Yes, you don't have all the entertainment at night, but you know what? You're so busy during the day, usually 2 excursions a day. You're a little pooped by the time dinner's over because beer and wine is included with dinner. So usually by 9 o'clock, you're kind of done. But really any traveler, just if you want the history, you want the culture, you do have to be mobile because these river cruise, these ships are not equipped for wheelchairs. Yes, you can come and bring a wheelchair, but if you can't get out of the wheelchair, it's a problem because they dock together. And if we're docked next to a ship that's not an Avalon ship, they're not configured the same. So you can't just cut through and you have to walk up and over to get off a ship. So it does help to be mobile and to be able to walk up into a motor coach, because in Europe, they don't have the ADA rules and they don't have those lifts for somebody that can't go up a couple stairs. But anybody else, we also take, now, not that you're going to bring young kids, but we do take kids 6 and over. We really don't see that, but we do see teenagers. And Pat, like your trip and Active and Discovery is perfect for multi-gen because you have all those active excursions thrown in there. It's perfect for multi-gen, or what we call skip gen, where it's the grandparents bringing the grandkids.
You have that as well. And I'm always trying to be aware of the clock, Denise, but I do have one important question that I want to, you just can't get around at this day and age. COVID and the other things out there continue to be a concern. How have things evolved and what are the current protocols for Avalon?
Yep. Starting March 1st, nobody is required to be vaccinated. So that is a huge change. So getting back to normal, we're still practicing, when people get off the ship, they're cleaning the ship, they're sanitizing the ship. But the big thing is people don't need to be vaccinated starting March 1st. Okay. So just for the prime time of 2023, folks, things are open and you are good to go these days. Any current promotions that our listeners should be aware of? Yeah, we do. We still have those waived single supplements like we were talking about earlier. Some of the sailings have $5.99 air. Some of them have $5.99 air plus money off. It just depends what you're looking at and what's available, right? But some have $5.99 air plus $500 off. So yeah, there's some pretty good deals out there right now. That air is huge. It really is. The 599 air is good. Also, don't forget, Pat, in 2024, our Douro Portugal ship is coming out.
Yes. Yes.
Brand new ship, only 100 passengers.
Yes, and that has become a very, very popular. There again, folks, if you want to explore that particular ship and itinerary, Portugal is just hot, and you will want to get your space early. Denise, thank you so much. I know how busy you are, particularly this time of year, and
Having me. It's our third time, Pat, right? It
is.
Just so you
It
all know,
is.
I have user error. Well, my computer died and then my microphone wasn't working. So Pat kept up and she's like, we're going to try it again. Third time is the charm, right?
Yes, we finally, we went to a different format to make sure that we could get this done. And I have, we always have some kind of giveaway for our listeners. So in the comments section that you see this evening, if you're listening live, and this is just for our live listeners, I'm going to give some packing cubes away this evening to one of our lucky live listeners. You just enter Avalon River in our comments section this evening, and you'll be entered in our weekly drawing. Somebody's going to get some packing cubes, and when you go on your Avalon River cruise, that is going to help you stay beautifully organized. You'll know how to find everything, and it will not get all messed up in your luggage. Thank you again, Denise. We appreciate you so much. Love Avalon and the whole Globus family of brands. Thank you so much. And thank you, listeners, for being here again this week, and see you again for another episode of Let's Talk Travel. Good evening. Bye now.
Bye.